Welcome back to My Dad Watches The Bachelor. I'm Meredith, and I'm here with my co-host, my dad.
Hello, Meredith.
Hey, Dad, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I know we're supposed to talk about all the Bachelor guys this show, and it was a lot of work to get through those bios. I didn't count how many we got, but it's a lot.
It is a lot. This is one of my favorite episodes. Not because I like being judgy, but just because I like being judgy a little bit. It's pretty fun to see what stupid things get put in these guys' bios. So we're going to be going through Katie's men, making some snap judgments based on very little information, and choosing our final four, our villain pick, our winner, and our first impression rose.
And I don't particularly like being judgy either, and just for our listeners out there, we basically we have pictures, we have paragraphs, and apparently they must ask these bachelors like a few questions on what they like or some unique stuff, and some of it's very vanilla, and some of it's a little bit weird, and so away we go.
Yeah, I would like to preface this saying that I definitely have more thoughts on the first half of the men, and then I got tired. So I apologize in advance to the back half of the alphabet, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles with this episode.
Well, let's get started.
All right, so first we have Aaron, who is a 26-year-old insurance agent from San Diego, California. I'm 25, and this man looks nowhere close to my age. Would have definitely guessed he's 32, which could work to his advantage since Katie is 30. He was an NCAA swimmer in college, has a neck tattoo of his family's initials, and his biggest fears are rats and saber-toothed tigers.
So, his bio says that he only has one tattoo, his family's initials on his neck. I guess I find it strange that if I'm going to have one tattoo, I start with my neck. I don't have any tattoos, but I just find it strange that that's the starting point. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, I don't think a neck tattoo is really the type of guy that I would be going for. Maybe it's really small and kind of hidden, but it's just, there are a lot of better places. I think that the saber-toothed tiger fear is very interesting. I'm not sure I realized that was a real animal. It sounds like something more that's in the Ice Age movies. And
I think it was around a long time ago. I don't think you need to be afraid of it now.
And rats, like, have you seen New York's Pizza Rat? Rats are pretty cool.
Not familiar with the pizza rat. I do try to avoid the rats. I'm more of a fear of the snake kind of guy. But I seems like a nice fellow, but I don't not in my top four.
I agree.
Nothing there for me.
All right, next we have Andrew M. He is a 31-year-old deputy district attorney from Newport Beach, California. He coaches youth water polo and played 1 year of professional water polo in Hungary's first division, the most competitive league in the world. When he graduated from college, he T-bowed on the stage, and he loves to sample men's fragrances from magazine inserts, which I didn't really realize people still read physical magazines.
We do. Some of us older people do. We actually have them delivered to our home. Although I must not be getting the right magazines because they just come with like old dad smell. They don't have any fragrance associated with them.
Well, I think it's a little weird that he loves to sample the fragrances from magazine inserts. Makes me think maybe he's not making that much money as a deputy district attorney.
Well, I was intrigued that, I guess I'm trying to think of who's going to fit well with Katie, and the fact that he claims that he's a prankster with a sense of humor got me a little bit interested. So I put him on my would consider list for the final four.
Okay. Andrew S. is 26, and he's a pro football player from Vienna, Austria. He spends half of his year in Vienna playing pro football and the other half in the Chicago area, where he works as a football coach and teacher's assistant. So, my question to you, are we talking American football or soccer here?
I assume American football if he's coming back to coach in Chicago. And I will have to say that as I'm a pretty big sports fan, and I'm not familiar with the professional football leagues of Austria. So, I'm sure that there's something there. And, he looks to be in good physical shape. I'm sure he's a good football player, but, when you or I think of football players, probably not the sort of professional football player that we think of.
Yeah, I was more excited when I thought that this guy played soccer. I mean, he's no Rob Gronkowski. I don't think I too know nothing about the Austria Pro Football League, so I wouldn't be. It doesn't seem like much to write home for.
In one of the comments about him was that he's close to his 96-year-old grandmother. And to me, that sort of comment sort of struck me as maybe he's going to be around for a while, because it seems like maybe would you throw that out because at some point he's going to share that with Katie. It doesn't sound like to me what you're going to share with her on the first night. So I just wondered whether that was a clue that this guy might be here for a while.
Maybe. I had him on my short list for a top 4.
I didn't, but go ahead.
Okay, next we have Austin, a 25-year-old real estate investor from Mission Viejo, California. In 2020, he flipped 20 properties and says that in 2021 his goal is to flip over 100. He's dated many women but hasn't found anything serious enough for him to consider marriage. So he's the average 25-year-old man.
Yeah, his bio said that he flipped 20 properties in 2020, and his goal is to flip 100 in 2021. I appreciate that he's ambitious like that, but I just wonder if he's more focused on his career than his. I'm not sure what he's doing here. Looks a little bit young. Didn't really strike me as a contender.
Yeah, I agree. If he has the goal to flip over 100 houses this year, it might be hard to meet when he's spending a month or two in Albuquerque trying to date Katie. But I also think that 25 seems pretty young for a 30-year-old woman. So that's just my opinion, though. If I were 30, I don't think I'd be trying to date a 25-year-old.
Yeah. I didn't really strike me as a guy that's going to be there at the end.
We need to get Katie some older men, which is not what Brandon is. He's only 26, and he's an auto parts manager from Queens, New York. He's fluent in Japanese and Spanish and is working on expanding his Korean vocabulary. He loves to attend the occasional rave and enjoys hitting the open roads on a motorcycle. My hot take is that this man needs a haircut.
Yeah, if you see his picture on the show page, he's a strange looking dude, and I don't know. It sort of strikes me as trying to be the hipster kind of guy, and I find it commendable that he speaks several different languages, but I just put too weird, too hipster for me.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Katie's type to me.
Yeah.
Next, we have Brendan, who is also 26. He is a firefighter trainee from Toronto, Canada. I'm curious what he was doing before he was a firefighter trainee, as he's 26 now. He is not a good dancer, but it doesn't stop him from tearing up the dance floor. His favorite sport is hockey, and he plays goalie in a local league. And he does not like vegetables. And to that I say, grow up, Brendan.
Well, I mean, it's okay to not like vegetables, but you should be eating your vegetables. So, I'm not sure why he feels the need to include that in his bio. I don't know. Maybe it's Canadian people seem to do fairly well in this program. I don't know. I thought he seems interesting. Seems like a handsome fellow. Maybe I don't know. I'm not that high on him, but he's he seems okay. He's a handsome guy. Maybe I don't know. What do you think?
I think that if you have a 26-year-old saying he doesn't like vegetables, he's probably not that mature.
Okay,
It's
all
really
right,
not that hard to eat a carrot. I mean, like an onion, you can put that in anything. Jeez.
okay, all right. Well, I can see where you're coming from, and
Okay.
I appreciate that you eat your vegetables. That's great.
Next, we have Christian. He is also 26. He's a real estate agent from Boston, Massachusetts. His parents have been married since their early 20s, and he wants to find something similar. He sold over $25 million worth of residential real estate properties, dreams of driving the Batmobile one day, and loves parades. Who doesn't love parades, especially the ones where they throw candy at you? I think Christian intrigued me.
His picture, he's wearing some sort of Mister Rogers type sweater. There were a couple that sort of struck me as they their mode of dress seemed not inappropriate, but just not for the right age. He looked. I don't know. He seemed a little vanilla to me.
I got like a cute nerdy vibe from him, like the Batmobile, his little sweater. I thought it was cute. I do enjoy a Boston man. I think it's just because I like Tom Brady, so maybe I enjoy a Tampa man now.
Well, I don't know. He didn't seem that to me. It just seemed to be he seemed too vanilla for me. Didn't
Okay,
didn't do a lot for me.
okay. Well, all right. Next, we will talk about Cody. He is 27 and a Zipper sales manager, which is incredibly specific. He's from San Diego, California, and is a very proud Eagle Scout. His favorite TV show is The Jersey Shore, which I'm going to say is an automatic red flag.
And I hear Jersey Shore, and I think, oh, of course you're on this type of show, and it's all one big happy reality TV show family sort of thing.
No, Jersey Shore was on MTV. The Bachelor is on ABC. Those are just completely different types of programming. MTV is what mom thinks of. No, mom thinks that ABC and The Bachelor is garbage TV, but MTV is really where the garbage is at.
Well, and people of my age think that, hey, MTV music videos, and we don't even think about that stuff. But so, I mean, he's a surfer. Apparently they talk about his six pack. He seems to be in good shape. I think to me the red flags is he sort of seemed a little bit more interested in hanging with the guys than necessarily going with the girls. So I'm just not sure. We've probably seen some of those situations where on this show the guys just sort of seem to enjoy the hanging out part of it, and I'm not going to say they might not be as focused on building their relationship with the Bachelorette.
Yeah, I would say the Jersey Shore is more of an automatic red flag, but that's two red flags against him in our eyes. So, bye, Cody.
Hi, Cody.
Next, we have Connor B. He is 29 and he's an eighth grade math teacher from Nashville, Tennessee. He has a master's degree in physics and has been a nuclear engineer. His one major deal breaker is a woman who doesn't respect waiters because there's no place for any bullying in his life. So he and Katie could bond over their mutual disdain of bullying. He loves dressing up and is a proud owner of a tux and claims he can eat cereal faster than anyone, which I did not know was something people competed for.
I don't think there's a league for that, but I guess if you're trying to find unique ways to describe yourself, whatever. I I was intrigued by Connor. He seems intelligent. Seems like a handsome fellow. He shares the anti-bullying sort of thing. So I had him on my list of people to consider for the Final Four.
I did too. He's in an appropriate age range. He's a
29, yes.
he's a smart boy, and I think that those are quality, intelligence is something we need to look for more as we get older than abs.
Yeah, I'm with you. So we'll put a check by him. Well, we might be coming back to him later.
All right, Connor C, 28 years old, former baseball player. Not sure what he currently does. From Costa Mesa, California, dreams of moving home to Oklahoma to settle near his family. Growing up, he loved his puka shell necklaces, which I would say is also a red flag. And I did some research on the former baseball player thing. I like to look up the stats.
At least for the people early in the alphabet. But go ahead.
Yeah. So he played baseball at Oklahoma State University and then went to the minor leagues. I tried to look up the stats and learned that I don't actually know anything about pitcher stats. So sorry to anyone that was really invested in this. I didn't know what any of the numbers meant. But he's a pitcher.
So the thing that sort of made me say no to him is, he lists his interesting facts. And one of the interesting facts that he listed about himself is he shares a birthday with Matthew McConaughey. That's great. I mean, they weren't born the same year. I'm sure he shares the same birthday. And I'm sure any of us can go out and say, famous birthdays on this date and find something. That just seemed very weak and weird that's, I'm coming onto the show and I'm going to talk about my interesting fact is I share a birthday with Matthew McConaughey. I didn't.
Well, in his defense, maybe he really loves Matthew McConaughey. I am a big Taylor Swift fan. Her birthday is the day before mine, so that is a fun fact for me. But if I was going on the show, would definitely not be in my top 20 fun facts about myself. But yeah. He's a former baseball player, and I don't get the vibe that baseball players have that much personality.
I'm sure some do, but as you said, a former baseball player means what are you doing now? And we don't really know the answer to that, so I really don't know what his prospects are. So didn't do a lot for me.
All right, next we have David. He is 27 and he's a technical product specialist from Nashville, Tennessee. He's a first-generation American, and he was born to and raised by Jamaican parents in New York. New York City pizza is David's favorite food. Respectable. Good stuff. He was on the debate team in high school, and NSYNC is his favorite boy band.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pro New York pizza. I'm pro most pizza. He seems like a very nice guy. I don't know. He nothing there grabbed me to make me think that he's going to be there at the end. I don't know. Who knows? We're reading bios, we're looking at pictures. Someone's going to come out of the limo, guns a-blazing, and we're not going to know which one it is. I don't think it's David, but didn't do that much for me.
Well,
does the Rolling Stones count as a boy band, or is that not the same thing?
I don't think so. Personally, I thought it was weird that he said NSYNC. He's only 2 years older than me. And I don't understand the whole NSYNC Backstreet Boys thing. Boy bands from my time, you've got Jonas Brothers and you've got One Direction. And that's pretty much it. So I think, but I was intrigued by him. I think that he looks very attractive. I think he probably has an interesting backstory being a first-generation American. And the Nashville area is like a new hub for Bachelor Nation. So it could be good that he's coming from out of there.
Okay.
Next, we have Gabriel. He's 35. He's an entrepreneur, and he's from the good old town of Charlotte, North Carolina. He doesn't understand the concept of athleisure and believes that people should respect elegant styles of the past. I think I hate this man.
Well, hate is a strong word, and I don't think you should start hating just from reading his bio. But he said that he considers himself a Renaissance man and prides himself on having lots of passions and interests. I wrote, potential for arrogance here, and I was, you know, I'm not going to say I hated him, but it struck me as he has the potential to be the villain this year. Who was the guy that on last year's show that was so dressed up and everything, and he sort of reminds me of that guy that
The one that yelled at Claire.
yeah, I think he yelled at everybody and told the one guy about how awful he was and how Neanderthal like he was. But anyway, a little concerned about Gabriel.
We're in the middle of, well, not the middle, hopefully the end of a global pandemic. And this man's saying he doesn't understand the concept of athleisure. That's all I've worn for the past year and some months. Like, I would not get along with him. If you look at his picture, he's wearing a turtleneck and blazer. Not my cup of tea. I don't think that he's going to make North Carolina proud.
I fear that might be the case, but we'll have to see where that one goes. But I agree that he can be a problem.
All right, let's move on. Garrett, 29, software marketing manager from Salinas, California. He is a YOLO type of guy. Do you know what that means, Dad?
You only live once, right?
There you go. But
All right.
he's very loyal and is looking for a wife, not a one-night stand. And he has a 5-year-old German Shepherd named Archer. And he's not a fan of tangy foods.
And one day he wants to climb the summit of Mount Everest, which makes me feel like he's got a death wish. A lot of people actually die trying to climb on Mount Everest. So, if I'm Katie, not sure I want to hang with a guy that's got a death wish like that. So
he's a YOLO type of guy.
Well, his only living once might be cut short if he tries that. And I think that all these guys come on the show saying that they're looking for a wife, not a one night stand. But he just sort of came off as he's very loyal. He's got a German Shepherd. Once Katie starts dating 25 different guys, I think his head might explode. So it didn't strike me as a good candidate here.
Yeah, I didn't have any warm fuzzies towards Garrett. Next, we have Greg. He is a 27-year-old marketing sales rep from Edison, New Jersey. He wants to have at least 6 kids, says the guy who doesn't have to birth any of them. He is not afraid to admit he cries during movies. His biggest pet peeve is slow drivers, and he dreams of seeing LeBron James play basketball in person. Dude, go buy a ticket and get a bigger dream.
Yeah. I thought he said that he actually wanted to play against LeBron, but you're right. He dreams of seeing LeBron James play in basketball in person. That's sort of a low dream. That's sort of a low bar for setting your dreams. I want to go to see the New England Patriots play a football game. Well, go to StubHub, go to Ticketmaster, and you can achieve your dreams. So
I feel like tickets aren't even that expensive. Well, they're probably expensive now because it's the playoffs or whatever. I don't really follow the NBA, but I imagine like regular season basketball games, they play so many. Go get a ticket, dude.
Yeah. So I don't know. He's got a little goofy hair stuff going to, but he didn't do that much for me.
All right. Next, we have Hunter. He is 34, a software strategist from Houston, Texas. He is the father of 2. One of his favorite pastimes is people watching. See, you could read that and know that he is not one of the 20-year-olds in the cast. He has never ridden a horse, but really wants to, and has a pet parakeet named Zazu. I don't know why, but I just got creepy vibes from this guy.
Well, and you tell me how when somebody comes on the show and they already have kids, to me, it's sort of a challenge for them in to bring someone into their family in this sort of environment, in this sort of show. So to me, it's always sort of a reach for people that come on the show that already have kids to actually end up winning the show. He might go a while, I don't know, but I think that's a tough one for a bachelor or bachelorette to make that leap.
Yeah, I feel like if I were the lead and I was down to like my top 4 and one of them was a single dad and I liked them all relatively the same, I'd probably send the single dad home because it's like I could be a stepmom or I could not.
Yeah, and I don't think we mean any ill will or anything like that. It's just in terms of the way this program works, and so I have a hard time seeing him advancing too far.
Me too. Next, we have Jeff. He is 31, a surgical skin salesman from Jersey City, New Jersey. He has a big Italian family, calls himself an exceptional lover, and I would like to say that men like Jeff are probably one of the reasons why Katie has a vibrator, those self-proclaimed exceptional lovers.
Ouch.
If he could have any other job, he would be a CIA agent and has never met an animal that didn't love him.
So I have to say, I found Jeff intriguing. I don't know why. I sort of like Jeff, the fact that he comes from a big Italian family. He has a different look, less polished look than many of the bachelors. But he seemed, I guess this is all self-described, energetic, outgoing. I don't know. I'm intrigued by Jeff. He's on my short list.
Okay, interesting. I wouldn't put a self-proclaimed exceptional lover on my short list, but to each their own. Okay. John is 27-year-old bartender from Pacific Beach, California. He's studying to get his pilot's license, and he's a vegetarian, which is a deal breaker in my books. He loves the smell of fireplaces and recommends everyone try kiwi berry. Do you know what kiwi berry is?
Not really, no.
I Googled it, doing some research for the pod. And they are bite-sized fruits that look like a combo of kiwi, grapes, and kumquat. So, never heard of it before.
Are you going to rush out and give it a try now?
No.
Okay. Me neither. I worry a little bit about if someone's a vegetarian, to each his own. I try to eat relatively healthy, but I do enjoy a good steak here and there. He's sort of a thrill seeker. He's another one of these people that says that he doesn't tolerate dishonesty or treating people disrespectfully. Question for you: did these bachelors know that Katie was going to be the bachelorette before they sign up for this, or probably not?
Typically, no. They'll say, like, these are a few people we're considering for the lead. Like, who would you be interested in? But they don't know who it is the way that the women will know for The Bachelor.
Okay. I just wonder if when they're doing their bios, whether they're trying to lay it out there for who they think the Bachelor is going to be. So anyway.
All right. Next we have Josh. He is a 25-year-old IT consultant from Miami, Florida. He has to sleep on the right side of the bed and starts celebrating Christmas in October. I'm a big November 1st girl, which I know some people disagree with. And even I think October is excessive.
Well, and what does that do for Halloween? We like to celebrate and have a good time on Halloween. So if you're starting Christmas in October, that's not good. I thought it was very strange in that he, in his picture, he's wearing a turtleneck, but he's from Miami. I don't believe that a lot of people in Miami wear turtlenecks. I found this to be suspicious, and therefore I cannot support him.
Okay. I've only been to Miami once, and it was in January. I did not need a turtleneck, so
You're not going to need a turtleneck ever in Miami. So I find this strange, and so he can't be trusted.
okay, that's fair. All right, so next we have Justin. He is a 26-year-old investment sales consultant from Baltimore, Maryland. He is an extremely talented painter. His parents have been happily married for over 30 years. He does not like to dance at all. And his favorite artist of all time, which I'm going to butcher the name of, is Basquiat, who is a painter that Wikipedia tells me stylized in graffiti and street art.
Yeah, and I find it somewhat intriguing that he's a painter and sort of an artist, and I wonder if that sets him apart a little bit from the other bachelors. A little concerning that he doesn't like dancing at all, just because I can't imagine you getting through this bachelor season without having to do some dancing. So he's going to have to fake that one, and maybe it'll be cute, or maybe it'll be incredibly embarrassing, or both.
Yeah, someone that doesn't like to dance kind of screams like too serious to me. But I don't feel like we've ever had a painter on the show before, so I think that could be interesting. Justin intrigued me.
Okay, yeah, I put maybe next to him, so well, he's sort of there, but I don't know, not that high on him, but maybe.
Next, we have Carl, who is a 34-year-old motivational speaker from Miami, Florida. He loves to play chess and speaks both English and French, and I have no thoughts on Carl.
No thoughts on Carl. See, now the one thing I'll say about Carl is, he claims to be a motivational speaker as his vocation. And he's looking for someone who should be fun and spunky, which Katie seems to be. Just the fact that he's a motivational speaker made me wonder whether he might come out hot on the first night and make an impression and be a candidate for the first impression rose.
Or just be obnoxious.
Could go either way, but he might make an impression, yes.
All right, next we have Kyle. He is a 26-year-old technical recruiter from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Steve Irwin is his lifelong idol. He hates mayo and mustard. And to me, Kyle kind of looks like the type of guy I would match with on a dating app. And instead of trying to flirt with me, he would tell me he's a recruiter and would want to know if I'm interested in leaving my job. And yes, this has happened to me before.
Well, okay. Well, I'm glad I don't know too much about your dating life. He's got his favorite flower is an orchid, and maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about what my favorite flower is.
I don't
I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know. He seems very pleasant, but I didn't see him as a contender.
I didn't either. Next, we have Landon. He is a 25-year-old basketball coach from Dallas, Texas. He had a successful basketball career and is currently pursuing his master's degree in global business. So I did some more research on Landon's successful basketball career. He was a guard for the University of Houston, and it looks like he was averaging about 5 to 6 minutes per game and had a field goal percentage of .231. So I would say successful basketball career is debatable.
Well, successful in that if he's at the University of Houston on their team, I guess he got a scholarship. So successful in that he's had success at certain levels. And so I was a little intrigued by Landon. He's a little bit young for Katie. He says his nickname is Sunshine. He seems exciting and energetic. And I thought that you would appreciate the fact that he loves a good game of Uno or Settlers of Catan. Doesn't that mean something to you?
Uno is not a very riveting game.
But what about Settlers of Catan?
I've only played that once and I won it and I don't know the rules and I've retired from it as a 100% winning record. But you're going to say you like games and Uno is going to be one of your top two? Like, that seems embarrassing to me.
All right. Well, to me, he struck me as another guy that might be someone to consider for the first rows, and that he looks like he's bringing a lot of juice to the program.
Well, he's also a proud and loyal believer. Do you know what that means, right?
I assume that means you're a fan of Justin Bieber.
Yes. So,
Okay.
I haven't been a fan of Justin Bieber since he cut his hair, which was like when I was in middle school. So I just not really my type.
Well, I thought that perhaps he was trying to be humorous, but anyway, I'm intrigued by Landon.
Okay, well, Marcus is a 30-year-old real estate agent from Portland, Oregon. He loves to play board games, and Monopoly is his favorite, which to me seems a bit more cerebral than Uno. He fears a world where soap doesn't exist, which is fair. That might be a new fear for me now. I never really thought about it. He loves the Los Angeles Lakers and would love to be Spider-Man for a day, even though he's terrified of spiders.
So how often do you play actual Monopoly? You know, the real board game. I mean, that's like, you know, that can take 6 hours and be very painful. You know, I mean, I appreciate the fact that he's a real estate agent. And how many real estate agents do we have in this year? It seems like that we have an awful lot of real estate people. Whatever. So I don't know. The fact that to me, playing Monopoly felt like a negative. I've played Monopoly, but not real Monopoly in a long, long time. You know, and if you're a fan of the Los Angeles Lakers and you live in Portland, that's a problem. Yeah, you got your Portland Trailblazers out there, and you're a Lakers fan. That's not good. So I'm not high on Marcus.
I think it's very weird that you appreciate an Uno man over a Monopoly man. Uno is a game for children.
I like to get my games done in a reasonable amount of time.
So that's why our family has moved from Monopoly to Monopoly Deal. Highly recommend.
Agreed.
Okay. Next we have Marty. He's a 25-year-old dancer from Reno, Nevada. His self-declared tagline is, quote, "Marty brings the party." So I think I hate him too.
But he's bringing the party. Don't you think that he's going to be someone that makes an impression on the first night?
He is a potential villain pick for me. He explicitly prefers to watch movies indoors. Who has to explicitly state that? Who wants to watch a movie outdoors?
I mean, it's fine. Well, these days during pandemics, that probably makes sense. But I miss watching the movies indoors and getting my extra buttery popcorn.
How many movies have you been offered to see outdoors in the past year? My answer is 0.
The downtown area puts them on every now and then, so they're out there. People of your age don't appreciate a good drive-in movie theater, and that very few of them exist any longer. The fact that he seems to worry too much about cologne was a red flag for me. So I'm not that big on Marty, but I guess I'm looking for those higher energy people on the first night as potential first rose candidates.
He seems like the one that's going to get drunk and get in the pool.
People will remember that, won't they?
Next, we have Michael, 36-year-old business owner from Akron, Ohio. He's the father of a 4-year-old son. He can make a mean plate of dino nuggies and prefers the mountains over the beach. I appreciate a man that can make a mean plate of dino nuggies.
Really? Okay. I thought that perhaps your palate had been expanded a little bit more than that by now. Again, Michael also has the Mr. Rogers look going on. At least he's a little bit older than the other fellow, and might have earned it. He's got he's also a single dad. Um, he seems fine. I mean, the Dino Nuggets didn't mean that much to me. To me, it's I guess sort of referencing that he's dealing with his kid.
Yeah, he microwaves his kid's dinner.
Yeah, so way to go, big guy. So I didn't see him as a competitor here. I don't think so.
I don't really think so either. He seems a little old. Next, we have Mike, 31-year-old gym owner from San Diego, California. Used to play professional baseball. You know what that means? More sports stats.
Did you do some research?
He was drafted by the Orioles in 2009 as the 806th overall pick.
They have long drafts in baseball, yeah. So they draft for quite some time.
He only ever played in the minor leagues and had a batting average of .238.
238, yeah. I mean, it's not good, but better than under 200.
He does not like dessert, so he's a monster.
Okay.
And he occasionally describes himself as basic.
So that was the comment that sort of made me wonder about him. I mean, I think that this is not the show that you want to go out and describe yourself as basic. I think you're trying to create some sort of identity here.
I feel like it's already understood that if you're going on the show, you are in some way, shape, or form basic.
Really? Okay. Well, I figured to get on the show, you must have some sort of uniqueness.
No, I disagree.
You just have to be handsome?
Yes.
Or attractive? Okay.
Yes. Next, we have Courtney with a Q. He is a 26-year-old nutrition entrepreneur. Did I write that correctly? A nutrition entrepreneur?
I had to give it a second look as well. Yes, he's claiming to be a nutrition entrepreneur.
From Dallas, Texas, loves to country line dance. Scuba diving is at the top of his bucket list, and his perfect idea of a nightcap includes a bonfire, s'mores, music, and dancing. He sounds like he's in high school.
One of in the description, it says Courtney's goal in life is to leave behind a legacy, and he needs a partner who will stand side by side with him and build an empire. I don't know. To me, that strikes of the red flag of self-absorption. When I'm saying I have to build an empire, I have to leave a legacy. To me, that sounds a little suspicious. So I wasn't a fan there.
I'm usually suspicious of just a job title of entrepreneur.
I don't blame you. I think people that self-proclaim themselves as entrepreneurs, I always have to give a second look at. If I see your body of work, I might say you're quite the entrepreneur. But if you're telling me I'm an entrepreneur or a serial entrepreneur, I'm a little suspicious.
Yeah. Okay, Thomas is 28. He's a real estate broker from Poway, California. His love language is food, respectable. Mine is queso. His favorite flower, we're back with this, is the sunflower. And he is guilty of rocking the Ed Hardy trend back in high school. Dad, what is that?
I don't know. I was going to ask you. I wrote, what does this mean? I thought that you would know.
No, I thought it was an older generation thing.
Well, I'm familiar with the Hardy, Joe and Frank Hardy from the Hardy Brothers way back in the day, but I don't remember the third brother Ed. So you and I are going to have to do some research and report back on that one at some point in time, or maybe Thomas will explain it to us when we watch the show.
When I Google who is Ed Hardy, the first thing that comes up is Don Ed Hardy, an American tattoo artist. That doesn't make much sense unless he just had a lot of tattoos.
Yeah, unless he's really inked up, which he's wearing a shirt in his picture, so hard to say.
Could have a neck tattoo.
Not in the front of the neck, at least, maybe in the back. So I'm looking at the picture now. So I question mark there. Not high on my list.
All right, next we have Trey. He is a 26-year-old software engineer from Covington, Georgia. His favorite activity is to meet his friends for their brunch and book club, which I think is great. He loves the harmonica and is irrationally terrified of piranhas.
I think the harmonica could get old. I'm a big fan of the music, but if someone's just whipping out the harmonica all the time, at some point I think I'm going to take it and throw it into the ocean. I don't know.
I figured you were a harmonica fan. I feel like that's a big Springsteen thing.
Well, I mean, he does. Springsteen has a little harmonica, and I enjoy it in doses, but I don't think I'd want to be hanging out with the guy that just is doing the harmonica all day. I don't know.
That's fair. So on ABC's website, this is all the men we have. There is a page that says like the box or something, and I think that there's like a gift box, and I'm assuming there is another man inside of it, but I don't want to discuss it because unless it's someone that we already know from the franchise, there's really no point in making this a surprise because we won't know anything about this person.
Well, I didn't even look in the box because I was tired of going through these bios. So anyway.
All right. So what should we start with our picks? Should we start villain?
Sure. Let's start with villain. I fear that we're going to say the same person. I've got Gabriel, the entrepreneur from Charlotte, who considers himself a Renaissance man, and just sort of struck me as being the arrogant guy.
Yep, I have him too, solely for the fact of his face, wearing a turtleneck and a blazer, and he hates athleisure. So I think Gabriel's a great villain pick.
Okay.
All right. What about your first impression, Rose?
So I guess the two people that I put down for first impression, Rose, and I'm not sure you liked either of them, were Jeff, the surgical skin salesman, which I sort of got to get past that vocation. Surgical skin salesman just sort of strikes me as Hannibal Lecter or something. I don't know. He's going to have to figure that one out. And then Mr. Sunshine, Landon, the basketball coach, were the two that I sort of came on, and I don't know. I'm going to go with Jeff just because I like that name.
Okay. My first.
What about you? Yeah, go work.
My first impression, Rose. I wrote it down and I don't even know why I picked him. It's Mike. He's the 31-year-old gym owner from San Diego. Used to play professional baseball, the 806th overall pick. Because he describes himself as basic, I'm picking him. I think that it's like a sixth sense. He knows what's going on with this show. And I don't have any other reason for why I'm picking him. I don't know. It was late last night. Mike is my first impression Rose pick.
Okay. All right. The basic sort of made me think he would not stand out in the crowd, but maybe the fact that he's normal will make him stand out in the crowd.
Or that he's self-aware.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Who's your first top four?
Oh, man. All right. Well, so for the top four. Number one, I'm sticking with the Jeff, the surgical skin salesman. I think he's going to be around.
Okay. My first top four is Christian. He's the real estate agent, kind of nerdy. Sold over $25 million worth of residential real estate products from Boston. I like his look. He seems very cute, has his life put together, a good career. Something about him drew me in.
Okay. All right. We're all throwing darts here, but my next choice is Andrew M., the deputy district attorney who plays Hungarian water polo. Prankster with a sense of humor. I don't know. Just he seemed a little more polished, age appropriate. So I'm going with Andrew M.
Samples men's fragrances from magazine inserts.
Don't have
Weird.
to brag about that. Okay, whatever.
Okay, my next choice is Connor B., 29-year-old 8th grade math teacher from Nashville, has the degree in physics, nuclear engineer, doesn't like bullying. I think, we want Katie to end up with a nice, smart boy, and hopefully this one's funny too.
Well, actually, Connor B is also on my list, so I'll put him down as one of my final four as well for similar reasons. I mean, he seems intelligent. He seems self-deprecating, anti-bullying. Nice that he owns a tux. But to me, he seems like a strong contender.
Mm-hmm. Okay, my third pick is David, 27-year-old technical product specialist from Nashville, first-generation American, liked the New York City pizza on the debate team, so he's probably like a little smart and nerdy. I thought he was very attractive, like bordering that appropriate age range for Katie. I think that he'll have a lot of life experiences and a good backstory.
Okay. Well, I struggled with my last one, and long shot, but I put Brendan, the firefighter trainee from Toronto. Not sure why.
You like the Canadians.
I do like Canadians. He's a straight shooter. Thought that might fit well with Katie.
Oh, doesn't like vegetables though, so we'll see.
Okay.
My last pick is Justin, the 26-year-old investment sales consultant from Baltimore, the extremely talented painter. I feel like he could have a lot of depth that this show doesn't typically have. And I think that's a good thing.
There might be a reason that this show has little depth.
All right. So those are our picks. Who is your overall winner?
If you have to ask me, I'm gonna say Connor B. I'm gonna go with Connor B, the teacher, the masters, the self-deprecating guy. That's my pick.
That he was a top two for me, but I ended up going with Christian. I really don't know why, and this is probably just my personal interest rather than a Katie interest, but I'm going with Christian.
Okay. Well, how long is this show going to go on? When will we know these answers to these questions?
Like 10 or 11 weeks after June 7th.
Well, so we know how we're spending our summer.
Yep, and then we'll go right into Paradise.
We don't do a show for Paradise. unless we get lots of requests from the Netherlands, where I understand we are very popular.
Yeah, that's what I understand as well. All right, well, our picks are in. We've gone through all the men. We are officially ready for the start of Katie's season. So, with that, join us next time as we discuss the first episode of Katie's season from the right perspective and my dad's.